Conditions are catastrophic and will further deteriorate if additional steps are not taken. The flow of humanitarian aid through multiple border crossings to Palestinian civilians is desperately needed and must be allowed. The United States is concerned by the situation in northern Gaza, including the announcement by Israel of a new evacuation order for several communities. We're particularly concerned that Palestinian civilians have nowhere safe to go. Already there are devastating reports of the squalid conditions in the humanitarian zone in southern and central Gaza, where more than 1.5 million displaced civilians have fled. These catastrophic conditions were predicted months ago and yet have still not been addressed. That must change, and now. We call on Israel to take urgent steps to do so. And I reiterate the United States' expectation that Palestinian civilians, including those evacuated from the north, be permitted to return to their communities and rebuild. Consistent with Resolution 2735, there must be no demographic or territorial change in the Gaza Strip, including any actions that reduce the territory of Gaza. We are also concerned by recent action by the Israeli government to limit the delivery of goods into Gaza. When combined with new bureaucratic limits placed on humanitarian goods arriving from Jordan and the closure of most border crossings in recent weeks, these restrictions would only have the effect of intensifying suffering in Gaza. We need to see fewer barriers to the delivery of aid, not more of them.
Israel imposes no restrictions on humanitarian aid. In fact, 82% of all requests for humanitarian coordination have been approved and implemented. We have a vision for Gaza without Hamas. Aid would finally reach those who truly need it. You spoke about the aid. Do you know that in one day, about 50% of the trucks were hijacked by Hamas? I haven't heard that from the distinguished reporters we heard today. 50%, not one or two trucks, 50% being hijacked. In the future, the trucks carrying that aid would no longer be violently hijacked. Money intended for civilian welfare would not be diverted by terrorists. The money being donated would be poured into schools and hospitals, not weapons. The fuel sent to Gaza would be used in homes for cooking, not for launching rockets. concrete would be used to build highways, not terror tunnels. Hamas has exploited the suffering of its people, using the misery in Gaza as a propaganda tool while they line their pockets and boost their arsenals. Our vision of Gaza is not an impossible dream. It is within reach. But it cannot happen while Hamas remains in control, diverting aid, exploiting resources, and worsening the suffering of their own people.